Good evening, and thank you very much, Mr. Boni, dear members of the European Parliament, dear colleagues and friends from the European Internet Forum and community. Thanks for inviting me tonight and for the opportunity to contribute to the dialogue on 5G in Europe. Indeed, a great technology which brings significant opportunities to European society and economy, and also for European leadership. I'm talking today as, in my day job, the market head for running the European operations at Nokia, and as such, I have a very European perspective on 5G, but also in my capacity as president of Digital Europe. And with 5G on the horizon, Europe has a great potential to gain, or I think actually I should say to regain, a leadership position as a global champion here in communications technology, but also in defending the technology we have in many industrial sectors. And the technological advantages of 5G have already been addressed by Laszlo in the previous speech, and I think it's also connection as a key enabler for European competitiveness. So not only the competitiveness of the ICT sector, but the competitiveness for the European economy as a whole going forward is widely known and understood, and I understand that also the European Internet Forum has already had a session here on this topic. So I just want to share, just to refresh our minds, I just want to share a few data points which you might find interesting. So for example, it's estimated that €1 of investment in telecommunications, in the telecommunications sector generates €6 of GDP in other sector, according to the Fédération Française de Télécom. It's also estimated that 5G will reap an annual €113 billion in economic benefits, and generating around 2 million new jobs by 2025. Of course, 5G, as we heard before, is also a key enabler for the Internet of Things, and the market size for IoT solutions in Europe can grow to around €80 billion within the next 10 years. And I think also important for us to know how to apply 5G and how to apply digital. And as a matter of fact, 75% of the value of digital to Europe will come from the improvements to productivity and competitiveness that arise when you apply digital to Europe's existing industrial base and industries, and hence it is indeed a significant opportunity for us. But it's of course not only the economic boost that 5G can provide. The potential of 5G goes far beyond, and also has significant benefits for society. So, for example, it unlocks vast benefits in new communication services. If we think about e-health, if we think about also connected vehicles, if we think about smart cities, and so on. But the question is whether these gains will be realized, and that will depend to a large extent on a good cooperation among the key stakeholders and the creation for the right environment to stimulate investment here in 5G across Europe. And we've heard before that indeed significant amounts of money are needed for Europe to reach its goals and for Europe to catch up with other developed industry and markets around the world. So the task of national and European governments and regulators is to create the right regulatory environment for accelerated investments in our digital infrastructure and technologies. So simply put, a forward-looking regulatory environment that fosters innovation, that rewards entrepreneurship, where investments pay off while reducing market intervention, and that leverages the economic and innovative capabilities of our continent in Europe. So a few particular areas I would like to highlight, and that should be a focus here for improvement, is on the one side a much more investment-friendly EU telecom framework is needed. No delays in harmonized spectrum allocation across Europe with longer license durations, and also a more predictable and growth-oriented net neutrality rules. From our perspective, we support the overall gigabit society concept of the European Commission and also the measures proposed in the 5G action plan. And then I think here in the 3 words 5G action plan, the most important word is in the middle, action. The regulatory proposals have the potential to promote a more business-driven approach and to incentivize operators in Europe to accelerate network investments. Europe needs a lighter and technology-neutral regime. And I would also like to reiterate the importance of standardization to ensure that, just like in telecommunications, Europe will benefit from harmonized and interoperable approaches in the areas of IoT and not suffer from fragmentation. So to summarize, there's a lot of homework still to do for us in Europe. It requires contributions from government at all levels, regulators, as well as the network operators and the industries. This House, the European Parliament, will help shape the new European telecommunications framework and give political guidance on the 5G action plan. Frankly, we count on you to make progress in such important policy areas as the telecom review and spectrum harmonization. It will be a big challenge to get to realize this ambition of the Commission's proposals, but the benefits of the harmonized approach in Europe to telecoms will be much more than evident and is basically without alternative. It will also be necessary to deliver on the 5G vision to businesses and consumers. So Digital Europe is keen to support you in these endeavors and to continue to share our technical expertise and insights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Markus, and now Anja.